Okay, everything we've talked about leads up to this very moment, creating estimates, which is the primary focus and purpose of this app. One thing we did overlook is in People, if you have a subcontractor, you need to make sure they're tagged as a subcontractor. So let's just go ahead and add a subcontractor really quick. Let's add my buddy Aaron. So let's do a quick phone number. So let's just say Aaron's an independent contractor. So he doesn't really have a position. He's just a dude. Okay, so and if he's with a company, you can add that company and tag him. If not, just leave it blank. So here's the relationship part. Okay, is he a rental customer? Is he a vendor or a subcontractor? Well, if I want to hire Aaron as, let's say, a gaffer, he's going to be a subcontractor. And as soon as we hit next, we'll see that there's a bunch of lists that we can, or a bunch of services we can check him as. And I don't have gaffer listed. Had I had gaffer listed under my services, it would show up here. So just for the sake of argument, let's say that he is a director of photography. And we're going to upload his picture. Give it a second. Let's go into space. Okay, there's his picture, and it will automatically crop around his face once we save it. And then we type in his rate. Well, let's just say he's $1,000 a day, so that would be $100 an hour. And if he's approved, this will show approved. Through your client portal, there's another way for you to send out an invite for people to register with your company and check off the services that they provide. And you have to go through and vet them. And if you've approved them for the rate, it will show up here, and you can either deny or approve them. But since we're entering this manually, we're not going to worry about that right now. So $100 an hour. Okay, so there's Aaron. And he's a subcontractor, and he's a director of photography. Now, if he's capable of doing multiple things, oops, there's a little glitch there. Sorry, I'll fix that. Let's just say he's also a director. We'll just toggle that switch. And let's say he's a director for $120 an hour. Okay, save that, and now we see there's a director of photography and a director. Okay, so now we have a subcontractor in there we can talk to about when we're making our estimate. Okay, so now back to our estimates. We have this lead to do training videos for the Brute Squad. Let's go ahead and create an estimate. Now, how I create an estimate, we come over here, click this guy, click new, and this will pull up a dialog about the estimate. So this is project 1002-1. This is like the current revision. So if you create an estimate and a client asks you to change it, you'd create a revision so you can always have a reference from where it started to where it's going. Or sometimes they'll ask for a good, better, best. You can create multiple revisions and then select one that's most applicable that the client chooses. So that's like a versioning or revisions is this little hyphenated number. Okay, the company is the Brute Squad. The name is Training Videos. Contact is Bob Johnson. The description, all this carries over from the dashboard. When's the due date for this project? Let's just say this is due November 1st. So we have a month. Come on. And project status, we're creating an estimate. Okay, so if we click create new estimate, that will spit us out and create an estimate, and we can start adding line items to it. Once you get your system up and running, you can go back and create or clone from an old estimate. And if you clone from an old estimate, it will show you some other estimates. Like here I did project 1000-1 is a old estimate. I can just take that and clone it and work, make modifications that way. I don't have to start from scratch. This will show only estimates that are from the same company, and if you uncheck this will show you all the estimates that you've ever made. But we're not going to do that now. We're going to start from new, so we're going to go create new estimate. Alright, this is going to spit us out to the new estimate builder, and in here we're going to go ahead and choose all the estimates, or all the line items and services and service rental products that we want. Now I don't have anything in here right now for pre-production. I just haven't entered it yet. That's why it's blank. So we're just going to go next to production. And this will load all of our production services, our rental packages. This is all the things that we uploaded. And if they're by default, they'll be checked already. So we had director of photography checked by default because we had that toggle switch selected. Let's say we also want a director and a grip. Here's our rental packages. Let's just say we want the CNE lens kit, and you'll notice anything else that has these same items is now considered checked out. You can't select any of these, so you can't double book your own gear. Okay, so we have a lens set, and let's just say we want a camera body. Okay, so we have these 3 services, a lens set, and a camera body. Next we'll go to post-production, which we haven't entered anything yet, so that's just blank. Next is hours and days. This is going to set some arbitrary numbers, so how many days and how many hours per day are you roughly going to be shooting? Well, let's just say it's a 10-hour day and we'll be shooting for 2 days. Okay, let's go ahead and start our estimate going. So this is going to go through and create line items for everything we clicked. So we have to give it a second to kind of just update the database, and it's going to spit us over to our estimate builder. Okay, so at a glance, what we can see right here is we have our crew, which is director of photography, grip, director, and our camera equipment, which is the C300 Mark II, and the CNE lens. Now, when this list is long, as soon as you start scrolling down, some HUD elements will show up. If it's a small estimate like this, you have to press Shift and tilde, which is the button next to number 1. And so when you start scrolling down or hit Shift tilde, these HUD items will show up. So over here is how we add new line items. Over here is how we modify what kind of our view. And then down here we can save or print this estimate, and it will give us a running total, our cost, our profit margin, and profit dollar amount. Okay, so let's just say we want to add one more thing. Click this little plus, and so we can add a service, we can add a rental product, we can add a rental package, or we can do something custom. If you collect rental product, I think we selected most, yeah, so these are only 2 things left that aren't in our estimates. Let's just say we want to add this 40mm. It's going to disappear, and it's going to automatically add it down here. So lenses, we have the lens kit, which is a rental package, and the 40mm. And then same thing with services. I think all the services we have are already in use, so now nothing's available because everything we have listed under our services is being used. And then rental packages will show us all the rental packages available, but I can't add this because the lenses are already in there. Okay, now the only other thing is custom. So say you have something that you don't use every estimate, or it's not a part of your inventory or your wheelhouse, but you want to add something like meals, for instance. You can come in and add a service, a rental product, a rental package, and these are going to pull from the manufacturers and things you have. Service is just an arbitrary service or an expense, for instance. So let's just say we need to do meals for our 3 crew. So let's put meals plus crafty. Alright, so this is where you select the unit of measurement. Well, this is, and you can change your unit of measurements if you remember in your settings. So right now we just have day, hour, gallon, meal each or week. So for meals, we could do each or meal. Let's just say it's a meal. Let's say we're going to do $15 per meal. This is based off of your default margin, if you remember. So it's going to do the math. So if we bill the client $20 and you want to hold a 30% margin, it's going to tell us that our cost needs to be $14. So we need to spend $14 on the person but bill the client 20, so we have a margin of 30%, which is $6. We'll make $6 profit, and this is good to just kind of pad in case it's more expensive or you need a tip or something like that. Okay, so we're basing these off of a meal. We have 3 meals, so let's just say there's 3. And the category, where's this going to go? Well, this is going to be a production expense. What group is this going to be? Well, it's not a crew or any of this, so we'll just leave that blank. And we'll add that, and that should show up at the bottom here as an expense, meals plus crafty. The rate's $20. Our cost is $14. Profit is $6. The margin is 30% times 3, so that means it's going to be a total cost of $42 with a profit of $18, and we're going to bill the client $60. and it does a subtotal down here. All right. Now, when we added this, we didn't add 2 days, the 40 millimeter that is. So we're going to put 2 days in there. 2 days at $50 a day, $100. Okay, so these are some subtotals. And yeah, just adds it all up. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Our total cost for this project is $3,742. Our profit's $1,718. And our project total is $5,960. Well, it's calculating the cost off of our base cost from our service, right? But let's just say we're going to attach this to a person. So we're going to go ahead and click this. It's going to open it up. And you'll see there's no one attached to this. So you can choose somebody within your organization. So if it's me, you'll remember that my cost was, I don't think I entered it. Let's just say it's $50 an hour. Okay. All of a sudden, our cost goes down and our profit goes up a little bit. Now we're at a 47% margin. Okay. And then G. Mitchell was our cinematographer. He was more expensive, I think. Yeah. So you'll see it's $120 an hour. So this is going to say we're for billing 100 and it's costing us 120. We're going to lose $20 an hour, and we have a negative 20% margin. Okay, so this isn't going to work for us. So these are all the people internal who work for your company. And then if you have those subcontractors we talked about a minute ago, you can switch this to external, and this will give us a list of all of our subcontractors we've tagged as director of photographies. So we can choose Aaron. His picture is going to show up, and his cost is $100 an hour. So we're not going to make any money, but at least that position is filled. Okay, so we can close this. Same thing with the grip. Let's just say I'm the grip. Let's say I work for Supercheap. And what that's going to do is going to change our total cost. So we can say, we're holding a 32% margin now, with a profit of $19.18, so on and so forth. Yeah. And then if you go across the board here, you can change the rate or the cost. If your subcontractor's rate is not negotiable, there's a little checkbox for that when they sign up. So you won't be able to change that. The margin you can't change. It calculates for you. Quantity, how many hours of work is this person going to do? So we're doing 10-hour days times 2, so it's 20 hours. If you want to discount it, you type it in here. So let's just say Aaron agreed to work for $800 a day. We're talking about hours here, so maybe $80 an hour. So, and then say you want to discount this total cost to like 10%. So that'd be $160 off because the client told you to come down on price. So we'll discount it. It's 20 off the top. So 20 times 100 would be 2,000. Minus 10% would be 200. So that's going to adjust your total profit. So you go from making $400 for the gig. If you give them 10% discount, you're going to make $200, and you're going to discount them $200, and that's going to show up down here. Okay, so that takes it off their bottom line, the budget. Some other things you can do. Say you want another grip, you can come up here, and this will clone. It will duplicate, or you can delete this this line item. Okay. Reset to defaults just resets it to the default rates you have, and it resets everything to the stock. And then the more, this is just if you want to change it to an expense or move it around, you can. Okay, so let's change this, or just leave it because we don't know who our grip is going to be yet. Okay, so that's kind of how you add and modify these line items. Now what's over here? This is going to be ways to kind of just view it. So delineation is basically going to highlight every other line item. So when you have like 100 line items, it's nice to delineate because sometimes you get lost. Descriptions will enable the descriptions for each service, just in case you're working with someone who doesn't know what anything is. I think you can click down here and modify these if you want. Groups would be, and subgroups are going to be like we talked before. So the groups are the categories production. So if we had pre-production and post-production, those would be above and below. The groups are going to be like crew, and then the subgroups are going to be camera department, group department. So if we want to turn the subgroups off, we just turn this to that, and now you just see it says crew ramp. That is a glitch I need to fix. And then manufacturer is over here where it says like Canon. You can turn that off if you don't want to just and it won't come off of the rental packages, but it will come off of the line items. And then any item that has 0 quantity, you can turn them off there. So let's say that we're actually not going to use this guy, but we don't want to delete it. You can disable 0 quantity, and that will just disappear. And that should shrink, but it doesn't. Another glitch. Cool. I'm going to work on those glitches. Other than that, you should be good to go. If you just click save, and it automatically saves as you go, but it's always nice to just make sure that it saves by clicking save. If you want to make a revision, you just create this revision button, and it will quickly copy everything over to version 2. Then you can go through and change this to be like, oh, we're actually going to shoot 2 8-hour days, so all of our hours are going to be 16 hours, something like that. Alright, now let's say this is final and you want to print it. Just click print, and eventually we'll have a whole PDF generator where you can send PDFs to clients. Right now we don't have that working yet, but this will kind of give you a quick little nice looking page that you can just print off or hit print and create a PDF from it. So if you hit print like this and you save it to a PDF, you can just come down here and change your margins to be custom. I just say it's like an 80% scale. There. Now you're going to have a nice looking estimate that you can create a PDF and send it to your client. And this is where your terms and conditions are, and all of your contact info, and so on and so forth. There are some bugs right now. I'm still working on ironing everything out, like I said before. Like for instance, this shouldn't show up like that, but we'll get to the bottom of it here. And sometimes when you add a line item, it doesn't automatically show up, which is a bug I can't replicate, but if you just refresh the page, it should show up. Okay, well, that's Estimate Builder in a nutshell. Please hit me up if you have any problems, or hit bug if something's not working for you. Okay, thanks.